what we wanted to talk about today is we've been here a couple days, over a month, and we wanted to talk to you all about what it's like um, living off grid, trying to start a homestead 1 month in. How was it immediately?
Well, the first night we got here, we had trouble with the trailer, with the U-Haul and stuff, didn't we? So we decided, well, we got here late, but so by the, no. So by the time we got in, we decided to keep it for another day because we couldn't unpack everything at like 6 o'clock at night. So, so it was like, we didn't have anything for the trailer, did we?
Mm-hmm.
We just had us, and we were freezing. Can you remember the first night we were like...
I didn't even care. I remember I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was just like, where did I sleep that first night?
Well, we tried to sleep in the bunk beds, the pair of us, and we were like, nope, couldn't do that. So we tried to sleep on the bed that you sleep on.
Yeah.
And couldn't do that. So I tried to sleep on it. We just tried various different things. And in the end, I ended up in the bunk bed and you ended up in this bed, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I was absolutely freezing. And I don't know how. I think it must have just been tiredness or something as well, because it's been boiling since then, hasn't it?
I think the first 3 days it was very normal.
It was like normal temperatures, so we
moderate.
Yeah.
Which was good because those were hell days.
Yeah, we had to unpack so much.
But since then, it's been high 90s or over 100.
Yeah, and I'm from the north of England.
Yeah.
We don't see the sun generally. Well, we do, but very rarely. And when we first moved over to, when I first moved over to America, we were in North Hollywood, and that was bad enough. It was boiling because we were in an apartment place.
Yeah, and there's no breeze, no circulation.
No, and we got air conditioning, but it didn't work great, did it? And it was just like, oh my god, I thought I was going to die. Because it was a built-up area, obviously. This is very similar. It's really, really hot through the day. And we've worked out between 3 and 6 o'clock. No, 2 and 6 o'clock, I would say, is
Siesta.
Siesta. I don't know where you got that from. But that is the time when we need to be doing the least.
Yeah.
So I'm normally quite a late staying up person. I'm quite a night owl. And since we've been here, we're in bed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Well, it's weird because 3 to 6, we really shouldn't be doing anything. But coming into the RV is almost hotter than staying outside. Yeah. Right now, there's a great breeze coming in through the window.
Breeze
so it's this is amazing.
But the wind changes all the time, and you do get lovely breezes, which is good. But it's just a matter of kind of finding the area that you can survive in most. Yeah. So for doing stuff, when we're planning on building and doing all that kind of thing, we're going to have to do it early morning and late afternoon, early evening kind of thing.
I think if we just did it from 6 to 3, we'd be fine.
Do you think?
Yeah. I find myself, there's been a couple days where I've woken up right as the sun was coming up, and those have been just amazing. And I know if you follow us on Instagram, you see this all the time.
Yeah, we're kind of
our sunsets are the most amazing thing we've ever seen.
That's the
Yeah.
thing that I've noticed from the first day. Even when we first moved in, we were absolutely exhausted and just like, oh my gosh, this is like nuts. We'd sit at night time, and as soon as the sun goes down, we're just like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful place ever in the world.
Yeah.
And it just like blows everything out of the water, doesn't it? It's gorgeous. But I would say I would say we're starting to feel. I feel like it's more of a home now. Like I feel like we have everything kind of to the state that we can manage for now. You know what I mean? Like that we have to, like the essentials. We've managed to. We have so. How much solar do we have?
Not a lot.
We don't have a lot of
Like
solar.
we've been running off of about
It gets up to about 13 point.
I think 14.2.
So basically, we're running everything everything off that at the minute, apart from the fridge, which we have propane tanks. And we're on our second one now, aren't we?
Yeah, and we have what? I got 7 gallons when I filled them up in each one. So I'm sure it's not a 7-gallon tank, but
Is it 7 liters or 7 gallons?
it's gallons, but I can't remember exactly what size the tanks are. Anyway, and then we cook on the stove in here. I usually cook breakfast in here. And for like the first like 3 weeks, every meal we cooked outside on the EcoZoom. And this last week has been so windy at night.
In fact, it's ever since he's built his little fire pit thing.
Yeah.
We had loads of cinder blocks, so we built like a shelter round so that we could burn like cardboard and stuff like that, and we could put the EcoZoom in it. Ever since he's built that, it's been too windy to do anything. So that's great. We haven't tried it properly yet. We should try it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, like the sand's really soft, obviously, since all the problems we've had. But since I've put the blocks in there and got them all snug, like they've settled differently.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's like a little opening in between the cinder blocks at the bottom. So I'm like, okay, so like what's the point of this if wind's coming in anyway? So I'm just like yeah.
It's a working project.
Yeah, for real. But
eventually we want a proper fire pit area which is really sheltered, and an outdoor cooking area. But again, that's not
like an outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, an outdoor
like full
kitchen.
like sink,
everything out there. But it's just, the trouble is when there's so much wind blowing the sand around that everything just gets covered in sand. So you've got to be like.
Sometimes it's not that bad, but like was it yesterday or the day before? But if you get these
weird gusts that just like come out of
nowhere, and like you're standing there like this, and then the sand smacks you in the face,
sandblasted,
and it feels like you just got stung by like 80 bees.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, it's kind of funny, but No, I was just gonna say there's been some like down bits.
I've had a couple of down days. Finances are a big problem because it cost us a lot more than we ever expected moving.
So much more, and it always does.
U-Haul.
And U-Haul always costs more than it does. Having to get a storage unit always costs more than it does. We originally weren't planning on getting a storage unit, but the reason why we did was because it was getting closer and closer to move day. And I was looking around the house in Big Bear going, we have so much crap. We got rid of a ton of stuff, but we still have so much crap.
We did like 20 plus trips to the dump.
Yeah. And probably...
Which isn't close.
No. And probably that many to the storage unit.
Yeah.
And yesterday I went to the storage unit because we're trying to empty the storage unit out now. And I went there and I had this weird thought in my head that I was going to like go up there and the first like foot in would be empty. Like after I,
Was it like you hadn't touched it?
dude, like seriously, like no one's been there. Looks like, and
Well, the guy thought it was like, you know, when you have like a cupboard somewhere that you just like throw everything in to try and like keep your house tidy, and you open it, it just goes and falls on you. That's what the storage unit looks like.
because it's not very deep, but it like
It's
goes
high.
like to the moon, and so you just look up, and there's just like, and I'm like, how did I even get boxes up
You
there?
threw them up there a lot of the time.
I know, because I see rage moving helps a lot, but then afterwards you're like, how the hell did I get in this situation? Like, I brought a bunch of her clothes to her yesterday, like from the storage unit, and they're all in trash bags. And she's like, what's this? I'm like, these are your clothes.
I was like,
And
what?
she's like, why the hell are they in trash bags?
Are they dirty washing, dirty laundry? And he was like, no, one of the box broke.
The box that she packed her clothes in exploded when I was rage moving.
And I don't know what I'm wearing, because I wear like and shorts. That's all I'm wearing down here.
Yeah, I have these like short jean shorts that there is a picture on Instagram at Black Star Homestead that I originally made as a joke for the 80s party. The Friday the 13th party.
They're
for
invaluable.
My birthday.
He's never had them off.
Yeah, they've been on like constantly.
It's almost like they're off when they're on, though. So
yeah, there's been some wardrobe malfunctions. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. You get a bit older, things hang differently than they did. You know.
You can't unsee that stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else do we have to talk about? So the solar, we're managing on that. We have an inverter thing, so
we need a stronger inverter. Yeah. Period.
The one that we're using at the minute, we can use it for like the fan. We do have a fan, but it kind of just circulates hot air around rather than.
But it is nice.
It is better.
Although it sounds like an airplane's landing in our face.
Yeah. So we can watch
Frasier
at night time. We can watch YouTube. We have internet.
Yeah, and Shaylee was here. She was on the computer playing video games. I played online games on it. It's actually, I thought we were going to have huge issues with Unlimitedville. That's who we have right now. And it is slow in
It's
parts.
slow to upload when you want to upload videos, isn't it?
Yeah, there's been a couple times when, like, I don't know, the videos are all about 10 minutes though, but like this video right here will probably take like 3 hours to upload for some reason, but we haven't had really any throttling, but uploading takes longer than we're used to, but
we can live with it for now.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, and we can watch stuff. You know, we're all watching stuff on our phones and things, and we can communicate. The phone signal's not great.
The phone signal is horrendous. If I'm on that side of the trailer, I will drop every call.
We've had some down days where I was but usually it's because I'm really hot. I'm actually a lot better. I'm actually a lot better. I feel like I'm coping with it a lot better than I was. The first couple of weeks I thought I was dying.
In fact, you said that every day.
I'm dying. I'm actually dying.
I'm actually dying, or I'm literally dying.
I did think I was going to die. It was just so hot, and just like couldn't get used to it at all. And I often sit, like you've seen on Instagram, I sit in the bath with like an inch of water because we haven't had any water. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I sit in like that much of water and just keep sort of splashing it on me, and that kind of, I can survive, but it's so uncomfortable because the tub's like that big. But it's better than nothing. And then we got a kiddie pool, and you had to go twice to get water for that, didn't you? And it was just filthy. with sand
was
blown
like
in it. There
this
was like
deep.
that much, and we were just lying in it, like, oh my god, this is
It
like
was
the best
seriously
thing ever.
the greatest thing of all
It
time.
was the greatest thing until it turned into like the most depressing pool. Kiddie pool. It was like
It
something.
wasn't
It was like
depressing.
something out of, what did I say?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
what's the other one?
Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, Devil's Rejects. More deserty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was like that. When you just come across an abandoned thing where all the people have been murdered, it looked like a pool from a film like that.
Or it was just a kiddie pool with this much water in it.
It was blowing over and had flies in it.
Yeah, we had to like put chairs on all the sides of the pool to make sure it wouldn't but yeah, so there were a couple days when I don't feel like it now.
No, I don't.
But there were a couple days when we were like,
we were just like that all day.
What did we do?
What were we doing?
We've made a terrible mistake.
The worst time. Yeah, the worst time is when Shay came down here. Wasn't it?
Yeah, she was here for like 12 hours.
She was here for like 12 hours and she went again. For a birthday. You went and picked her up. She came down, we made a meal. She didn't eat it because she'd been eating crap all day for a birthday party. And she was just like, wow, yeah. But just like everything she had to do, she was like, it was awful. I just thought, this is the worst thing we've ever done. This is like, and I think it was just because we'd been here for like 2 weeks or something by ourselves. And we kind of got into like a little routine. And then Shay coming and changing it all and being like, seeing it all through her eyes, I was just like, oh my god, this is like awful. We've done.
You freaked out more than she was actually freaking out.
I did completely.
Like, she didn't even.
I think it might have been hormone.
On your part?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I was just like, she hates it. This is like awful. What are we doing? Because essentially we're camping out here at the minute until we get everything more secure. That's how I felt. I don't know. I feel like we put the fence up, which was great. We put that up in the first week, didn't we? Because we wanted, was it the first week? Because we wanted to make sure the dogs can't get out. Didn't work because Mina just crawls through the things.
Well, the thing is, Mina was a little fatty until we got here. And then, like, 2 weeks into us being here, she lost some weight and now could fit through the fence.
Now she just goes bloop through, and we keep catching her just wandering about, so that's awesome.
Because when we first got the fence, she would try to go through and get her head and one arm in, one leg, and she'd go...
She's a little chunker, and now with her running about and sweating her backside off, she's a little tiny thing. She'll get through, but she's more of a wimp, so hopefully she doesn't do it too much.
I think the times that... like, I got upset was, like, I was feeling like I had brought you guys here to die. Like, I don't know. That's
what he kept saying.
I don't know another way of saying it.
I feel like I've brought my family down to the desert to die.
Yeah, like, because Shaylee was obviously upset. You were upset. And I was like, and I'm like outside almost naked, like digging holes for fun. I'm just like...
He was absolutely happy as Larry, and we were all like, what's going on? This is awful.
And then I just felt so horrible.
But that's the thing though, as soon as the sun went down, I'm like sitting with a glass of wine or a beer and looking at the sunset. We're cooking our dinner outside and we're like, oh my god, this is like heaven.
The stars are amazing.
Yeah, it's the most beautiful place. And even like through the day, even when it's hot, I'm looking out the window and it's just like this huge like vista, isn't it, of view. It's just like incredible.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's crazy, and I mean, I'm sure it's more crazy for you because you come from a place where everyone lives this close to each other, and there's buildings this close.
Everywhere's like, for on a small level, but...
like, I come from cities and places that are more spread out.
Yeah.
And this is even crazy for me.
It's just like nothing. There's just little tiny spots where there's people living in the distance kind of thing, and that's it.
I can't believe that there's even still places like this. And I know like in like Western Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, you'd find tons of places like this. But
the piece of land that we're on is slightly elevated a bit.
yeah.
So we have this just this sweeping view. It's just absolutely stunning. It really is. And we never give that, like, take that for granted, do we? We're just like, oh my gosh. And you can just sit and look around and everything's just beautiful. But I think it's just frustrating because there's so much we want to do and we haven't got the funds to do it yet. So we have to compromise with little things until we can afford to do it.
And those compromises are not like a fight between us, but like her whole thing that she says constantly is that she doesn't want to look like the Clampetts. Okay?
I don't want my... I've realised being down here, and I knew this
The
before.
Clampetts lived in a mansion in Beverly Hills. Just want everyone to know that.
I've just realised that to feel alright in myself, I have to have things kind of organised and ordered around me. Like here, when we had the fence up and everything, we've got 2 compost piles. We have like a little cooking area, which is just cinder blocks.
The tables and the umbrellas.
Yeah, recently we had just the table up, the glass smashed with the heat, so you made like a wooden top for it, which is gorgeous. I thought it was going to look awful, but it didn't. You did an amazing job.
Thank you.
You did. So we outside, and we found this thing that was in the storage of the RV, which we think is just like a sort of picnic blanket that you stake down. But we're not entirely sure if it's for something else.
I think you're supposed to hang it from the awning as like some sort of like shade thing.
I think it's like a picnic blanket. But anyway, we're using it as a blanket, and we're putting all the table as a rug, and we've got the table and the chairs and everything on it so that you don't sink down into the sand. And it's like nice out there. You know what I mean? And the other day, we put it on the video, we organised, there was like just crap all under the trailer, just like we were dumping stuff everywhere because we had nowhere to put it. But you got like a free dresser that was on the side of the road up in Big Bear, and we were going to take it apart and put it for like...
I was going to use the wood to make raised beds.
Yeah, but we can't afford the soil at the minute, so... We've used that to put the plants on top of and to put all the stuff that was under the trailer in there to tidy it and organise it a bit. And I just feel like everything's more together kind of thing. Because I think in a small space, when you don't have many options kind of thing, the neater it is for me, the more... I don't know. Because I'm not a huge type, like everyone who knows me will be laughing because they'll be like, yeah, right. Because I'm not a good housekeeper. I'm not. I fully admit it. I'd rather be reading a book. No. But I have to have things in a place so if I'm sitting doing something, I can look around and it feels okay. And it wasn't like that, and it is now. But now we're at the stage where we need so many different things. We need raised beds. We need... shade cloth. We need some kind of decking or something right round the whole trailer so that we can sit and use that as extra space.
We need to start building, and we need to start like I want to not have a storage unit. Like that's a build.
That's the
like,
first thing we need to do.
We have 5 acres here and I shouldn't have to pay for storing our stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I think the main problem really is the fact that we're like utterly exposed at the minute. We don't have any sort of shelter from the sun or the wind, other than the awning that's on the trailer. That if it gets really windy, you have to take it in anyway because it feels like you're going to like blow away. And we have the little, patio umbrellas outside, but they would blow away as well sometimes. So that's like a temporary measure. We need some kind of permanent awning, like wooden, what do you call that? I can't think of the word.
Patio cover?
Like a gazebo kind of thing.
You want to say a pergola, but then I told you that pergolas are only in the front of the house, and now you're confused.
I am.
Boom. Oh.
Should have just left it there.
Should have just ended the video there. But
this is just a rambling. We're not very
but
organised.
today we got our water tank.
Yeah.
So we have a 2,500
So
gallon
excited.
water tank. And as soon as we are able to get in touch with the person who's supposed to put water in it, that'll be awesome. The guy who I got the water tank from, his name's Mike. I don't know what his company name is, but he's really a nice guy. Did some great stuff for me. And we're probably going to be doing more work with him in the future.
So helpful. And...
So I'll probably put some sort of link. So for those of you in Southern California, if you're interested in getting water tanks or septic systems or something like that, you might want to hit him up.
Yeah, he's really nice and so helpful and like enthusiastic about stuff, isn't he? He's really nice.
Yeah, while we were talking, our first snake, a red racer or a coach whip, went slithering by, and it didn't really bother me at the time, and we were just talking, but I guess it made me jumpy because I turned the corner. And Iggy, the desert iguana, ran across our weird rug thing. And to me, it sounded like gunshots or firecrackers. And I went, oh! And
it was more high-pitched than that.
Yeah, but I was like totally like on edge. So apparently the snake freaked me out. Mm-hmm. Although at the time I didn't think it did. Yeah. But
it was like 5 foot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
No, it was like this big, babe. I thought it was a worm, and he's like, no, it's a snake.
He has a... We won't go into it. You have a...
I have a time?
You have a difficult relationship with nature, don't you?
Oh. No, me and nature get along fine. I see something, and I go, oh, you're cute.
Letty.
And then I run away. Yeah. So anyway.
So we've rambled on about all sorts of things, and it's not very educational, I don't think, is it?
No, but I will say that also our plants getting eaten.
Oh, that was depressing.
Really.
But it's something that happens. Yeah. It happens all the time. We know that. It's just we're relying on such a small amount of little things that when they kept disappearing, we were just like, this is like a nightmare.
Yeah.
So we're bringing them in every night, like babies at the minute, until they're a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Because every time we leave them out, we come out in the morning and they're just gone.
Because the squash, the cantaloupe, the beans, they're fine. The watermelon's even fine. Mm-hmm. But all the tomatoes, the peppers...
all the little tiny seedlings that took a bit longer to come up, they just disappeared. I had like 10 cherry tomato plants and they were all just gone, apart from 2 which were a little bit bigger, and they left those. So we've repotted things and we just bring them in on a night time so that they're not getting eaten.
So we got the tank today. We'll do a video about it, or it'll be in the weekly heat.
So exciting. We were just like, this is amazing.
It's like I feel like we like upped our game.
I do.
That we're like legitimate homesteaders now.
I know.
We have a water tank, Biot.
I feel like because everything you want to do is limited by the water.
Yeah. Because all the building we want to do, we need the water for. All the, there's things I want to do. Like, I was talking to Mike about it, about doing, a horseshoe road for the guy to deliver water, up there and back. And that's a really freaking good idea. And I probably could just, pull that out, pull the bushes out and everything like that. But, just getting some water in there to harden it up would be really nice, and
it's just impossible without having a tank.
Yeah,
it's absolutely impossible. Gardening, there's no hope. It's okay at the minute because we've got little pots of stuff, but being able to water a garden and to keep everything alive, impossible without I mean, it isn't impossible, but like, for that amount of money for gas to go backwards and forwards every single day is
Yeah.
like defeating the object of everything that we're wanting to do.
So again, like however much you've budgeted for going off grid, like multiply that by like 3 at least. And
That's
that's
what's
probably how much it'll cost.
that's what's frustrated us, because we have so many plans that we need to do.
And eventually, like this place should pay for itself.
Really,
You
it
know?
should, like, it's very. We don't need much.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like extravagant, I don't think, at all in our
No,
needs.
but there's a lot of things that we need that cost.
We need stuff initially to
yeah.
be able to get things going.
And then over the course of the next like 5 years, probably, all of those things will pay for themselves. The things we're putting in place here, we're hoping will be able to sustain us inevitably. And to the point where we won't be having to pay for a lot of things.
No. And at the minute, we've cut out electricity.
Yeah.
Completely. But for our needs and for everything that we are going to need in the future, we're going to have to expand that. But at the minute, we're okay.
At the second, we're okay. Like, there's so much solar stuff that we want to do. So basically, for July 2019, if you were watching this in the future, I think
really
the 3 projects now are going to be making a different like driveway, and then that horseshoe road for the water delivery. That seems like a really smart thing to do. The garden, we need to keep on top of that, and we need to start building the beds. But the big project is the shed. We're going to be building some sort of like storage area for all the stuff that's in the storage unit now.
So we need a what?
There we go.
So we need a secure, sturdy building. So we're going earth bags.
Earth bag building with a corrugated steel roof.
So we can collect water.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. So, and that'll give us some practice as well to work out what kind of building materials work and don't work, and all that kind of stuff.
And so that'll also be our first water collection setup as well. So it's actually a twofer.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do the water collection with the first flush and all that other stuff. So it'll be exciting or educational or stupid. So, and I think that just broke.
Sounded like it.
Yeah.
Either way, you're going to learn something from us
Me?
messing it. No, them.
I would like to learn stuff too.
So would I. But that's what I'm saying. We sit here and we get so frustrated because we're like, ooh, we need to do this, we need to do that, and it's just having the finances to be able to get it going. So be prepared for that. Like, really, we should have been more prepared, but it wasn't an ideal, situation. Like, we didn't have a lot of choice.
That's the thing, too, because I don't know how much more prepared we could have been, because everything that has happened, for the most part, has been stuff that we never would have planned for. Like, we never would have said, oh, you know what? If I'm dumb enough to drive the U-Haul into a big, giant thing of soft dirt and sink the U-Haul truck, we should put this much money aside. So there were like things like that, and then also like I honestly didn't think half the stuff we planted would even grow. So the fact that pretty much everything sprouted, but some of the stuff got eaten, I'm like trying to just like.
Yeah, we planted it and we were like, ooh. And when they started coming up, we were so excited. Like, that's what they're meant to do. But we were like, it's never going to work. Weren't we? It's never going to grow. But whether it grows in the actual full sun, we've got so many things that we need trial and error. We need to build some kind of animal bug proof something or other. It all costs money that we're not.
It costs money, or it costs time scavenging. So I think we're going to both be, by the end of this summer, really good skip rats. Like, way better than we are now. So,
Yeah,
that is a thing.
it really is. Utilizing anything you can find for the least amount of money possible is a
Yeah.
huge thing.
But, like, so for you guys, like, if you're watching this and you're homesteading or you're off grid or anything like that, what were some of the challenges you guys had, like, in your first month or your first couple months? And how were you able to, like, get through it, kind of thing? I don't, I'm not saying to write an essay down below, but, like, just if you guys could share anything like that, that would be awesome. And for those of you who are looking to maybe do something like this, it's hard to prepare for things that aren't tangible when, like, you have no idea. Because again, everything that cost us too much money to move down here were completely unforeseen things. And I mean, I guess the water thing was just not well thought out. Like, I thought we were going to get a tank like the first couple days we were here. And then because of everything else, it just didn't turn out that way. So then we had to come up with a whole other plan of how we were going to not die for 30 days. You know?
Yeah, because, like, everything that you have, you kind of, I don't know how to word it, but you kind of, like, things kept cropping up that we had to pay for. So the money that we had set aside for the big things just dwindled away.
Like the home biogas.
All those things, just there was no hope of doing any of that.
Yeah.
And then we kind of had to, every step of the way, we had to kind of reevaluate things and think, what is so important? What can we do with? What can we do without? And so we've basically just managed, haven't we, for the first month? But it hasn't been horrendous. It's been hard for you because you've been the one going and getting the water and stuff, because I can hardly even lift it, which is pathetic.
Well, it's just, like, we have been winging it, and I'm actually kind of impressed that we've been able to not give up or not die. Like, when you think back on it, like, you're like, wow, that's, like, kind of hard. But while we're doing it, as long as we're busy, I don't notice it.
No, it's when you're sitting and you want to do stuff but you can't, that you get, like, down about it a bit, don't you? And you're like, oh God. But most of the time, we've been in good spirits, haven't we? We've laughed about stuff. We've been just all right. We've just had the odd day where opposite days as well. It hasn't both been like. Luckily, it's been a day where you've been down and I've been okay, or it's been the other way around, and we've kind of got through it. But we haven't had huge arguments or anything, have we? Like, oh, and that was the worst thing. I've realised that some of the medication I'm on makes me super sensitive to the sun. So I've had this huge itchy rash. See?
We almost went for a tumble there, folks.
It just comes up out of nowhere. My back has been covered in an itchy. It's still there. It's still bad, but it's a lot better than it was.
It's not as bad as it was, yeah.
No, but it's been so itchy. At night time, it nearly drives me mad. And I got, like, eczema on my hands. So I had, like, tiny little itchy bumps on my palms and right up either side of, like, both, all my fingers and my fingertips. So it felt like I was, like, touching cactuses.
Which she was, anyway.
That's not why it was, though.
Yeah.
But, like, they're still sensitive and itchy now, but they're so much better than they were. I was nearly crying. I was so frustrated with it, wasn't I? But I've just had to take antihistamine. We've run out of those. We're just kind of winging it. And that's why I think it's like the clampets, because we're just like, I just keep thinking it's like, or in England, Steptoe and Son, like living in a junkyard, and I don't want that.
Stepford and Son. For
Steptoe.
everybody. No.
You know what I'm talking about, British people. Right. But the problem is, I want our place to be pretty.
Tell them what you want.
Don't say it. I want it to be pretty and beautiful and looking out over a lovely place. I don't want it to look like it does sometimes when the wind catches stuff and blows stuff out of the trash can, and I have to go around picking trash out of the fence, for example, and bits of wood and crap just lying around.
I had to go hunt for a pizza box yesterday because apparently when I was gone,
there was a huge gust of wind and it blew. Yeah, it just blew. I just saw the pizza boxes flying over. I was like, oh crap, and it was too hot, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna have to get you to get it when you come back.
And me and Fred went looking for it, and Fred's like, why did I come out here? Fred gets like, he acts like he wants to go with you all the time.
And then he's
like, oh wow, it's really hot out here.
Because it's hot on his little feet, so he has to go in all... He doesn't like it. So the dogs we keep putting them in the bath. They don't like that very much, but it works. They seem okay, don't they? I think we're alright. The first month, I would say, has been survival rather than
thrival.
What's that mean?
Thriving.
Oh, yeah, survival rather than building, and
just trying to figure out like where everything is because we're not close to anything. So it's like.
But I think that's a valuable thing. I think it's good that we're spending this time instead of just like, in a way, if we just put the garden up and we'd just done stuff, it might have been a total disaster anyway because we're getting to know the wind direction and what
which is pretty much everywhere except from the south.
Yeah.
We don't get much of a southern breeze.
No.
But anywhere else on a compass, we get wind from that direction.
Yeah.
So anyway, let us know down below if this has been helpful, insightful, what advice you have for us, what questions you have for us, that, I don't know, 35 days of trying to not die in the desert would help with. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, until next time,
Goodbye.
Look both ways before crossing the street.
Look at Fred. Bye.
Bye. See you guys later.
Bye.
We'll be back before you know it. They don't like that at all.